Sutta number 32, Atanatiya Sutta. These are the verses of protection. Thus have I heard. Once the Lord was staying at Rajagaha on Vulture's Peak, and the 4 great kings with a great array of yakas, of Gandhabas, of Kumbhandas, and of Nagas, having set up a guard, a defensive force, a watch over the 4 quarters, as night was drawing to a close, went to see the Lord, lighting up the entire Vulture's Peak with their radiance, saluted him and sat down to one side. And some of the yakas saluted him and sat down to one side. Some exchanged courtesies with him before sitting down. Some saluted him with joined palms. Some announced their name and clan, and some sat down in silence. Stop here for a moment. So these 4 great kings is the lowest heaven in the desire realm. And a lot of these, because they are low devas, they are quite fierce, like yakas, nagas. Here it doesn't mention the others like garudas and all that. So, and when the night was drawing to a close, that means the early hours of the morning, maybe 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Then sitting to one side, King Vesavana. King Vesavana is the chief of the Deva Raja of the Yakas, said to the Lord, Lord, there are some prominent yakas who have no faith in the Blessed Lord, and others who have faith. And likewise there are yakas of middle and lower rank who have no faith in the Blessed Lord, and others who have faith. But Lord, the majority of yakas have no faith in the Blessed Lord. Why is this? The Blessed Lord teaches a code of refraining from taking life, from taking what is not given, from sexual misconduct, from lying speech, and from strong drink and sloth-producing drugs. But the majority of the yakas do not refrain from these things, and to do so is distasteful and unpleasant to them. Now, Lord, there are disciples of the Blessed Lord who dwell in remote forest glades, where there is little noise or shouting, far from the madding crowd, hidden from people, suitable for retreat. And there are prominent yakas living there who have no faith in the word of the Blessed Lord. In order to give these folk confidence, may the Blessed Lord learn the Atanatiya protective verses, by means of which monks and nuns, male and female lay followers, may dwell guarded, protected, unharmed, and at ease. And the Lord consented by silence. Stop here for a moment. So here, this Yaka Devaraja, yakas are fierce beings. I think mountain spirits, they call it Swasin, sun. Sometimes people go up the hills and then they are not seen anymore. Because as he says here, majority of yakas do not keep the precepts. The Buddha always teach people to refrain from killing, from stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and strong drink. But the yakas are like these things. To keep the precepts to them is very unpleasant. So they don't like the Buddha, they don't like the Buddha's disciples, majority of them. So if the monks stay in remote forest areas, if they meet these yakas, and the yakas don't like the monks, it's quite dangerous. So this Yaka Devaraja, he wants to teach the Buddha this parita, this protective chant, and then he is requesting the Buddha to teach the monks and nuns and the lay followers, so as to be protected by this parita. Then King Vesavana, noting the Lord's consent, at once recited these Atanatiya protective verses. This is the one we chant also very often. Vipassisa namatu chakumantasa sirimato sikisapi namatu. This one. Glory be to Vipassi, the splendid one of mighty vision. Glory be to Sikitu, the compassionate to all. Glory be to Vesabu, bathed in pure asceticism. These 3 are not in our world system. Long ago they lived. And then Kakusanda onwards is in our world system. To Kakusanda, glory be, victor over Mara's host, To Kona Gamana, glory to Brahmin Brahmana, fully perfect he. Glory be to Kassapa, liberated every way. Glory to Angirasa, Sakyan's radiant son, teacher of the Dhamma that overcomes all suffering. And they who from this world are freed, seeing to the heart of things, they who are so mild of speech, mighty and of wisdom too. To him who helps both gods and men, to Gautama they offer praise, in wisdom trained, in conduct too, mighty and resourceful too. The point from where the sun comes up, Aditya's child, in mighty arc, at whose arising shrouding night is dispelled and vanishes, so that with the risen sun there comes to be what folk call day. There too this moving watery mass, the deep and mighty ocean swells. This men know, and this they call ocean or the swelling sea. This quarter is the east or first. That is how the people call it. This quarter's guarded by a king, mighty in power and fame is he, Lord of all the Gandhabas. Dattarata is his name, honored by the Gandhabas. Their songs and dances he enjoys. He has many mighty sons, 80, 10, and 1, they say, and all with but a single name, called after Indra, Lord of strength. And when the Buddha greets their gaze, Buddha, kinsman of the sun, from afar they offer homage to the Lord of wisdom true. Hail, O man of noble race! Hail to you, the first of men! In kindness you have looked on us, who though not human, honor you. Often ask, do we revere Gautama the conqueror? We reply, we do revere Gautama, great conqueror, in wisdom trained, in conduct too. Buddha Gautama we hail. Where they whom men call Petas dwell, abusive speakers, slanderers, murderers and greedy folk, thieves and cunning tricksters all. This quarter is the south, they say. That is how the people call it. This quarter is guarded by a king. Mighty in power and fame is he, Lord of all the Kumbhandas, and Virulhaka is his name. Honored by the Kumbhandas, their songs and dances he enjoys. The point at which the sun goes down, Aditya's child in mighty arc, with whose setting day is done, and night, the shrouder, as men say, comes again in daylight's place. There too this moving watery mass, the deep and mighty ocean swells. This they know, and this men call ocean or the swelling sea. This quarter is the west or last. Such is how the people call it. This quarter is guarded by a king, mighty in power and fame is he, Lord of all the Naga folk, and Virupakas his name, honored by the Naga folk. Their songs and dances he enjoys. Where lovely northern Kuru lies, under mighty Nehru fair, there men dwell, a happy race, possessionless, not owning wives. They have no need to scatter seed, they have no need to draw the plough. Of itself the ripened crop presents itself for men to eat, free from powder and from husk, sweet of scent, the finest rice, boiling on hot oven stones. Such the food that they enjoy. The ox their single-seated mount, thus they ride about the land. Using women as a mount, thus they ride about the land. Using men to serve as mount, thus they ride about the land. Using maidens as a mount, thus they ride about the land. Using boys to serve as mount, thus they ride about the land. And so, carried by such mounts, all the region they traverse, in the service of their king. Elephants they ride, and horses too. Cars fit for gods they have as well. Splendid palanquins are there for the royal retinue. Cities too they have, well built, soaring up into the skies. Atanatiya, Kusinata, Parakusinata, Nattapuriya is theirs, and Parakusinata, Kusitanata, Kapivantas to the north. Janoga, other cities too. Navanavatiya, Ambaravatiya, Alakamanda, city royal. But where Kuvera dwells, their lord is called Visana, whence the king bears the name Vesavana. Those who bear his missions are Tatola, Tatala, Tototala, then Tejasi, Tatojasi, Sura, Raja, Arita, Nemi. There's the mighty water Dharani, source of rain clouds which pour down when the rainy season comes. Bhagalavati is there, the hall, that is the Yaka's meeting place. Round it ever-fruiting trees, full of many kinds of birds, where peacocks scream and herons cry, and the cuckoo gently calls. The jiva bird who cries, live on, and he that sings, lift up your hearts. The peasant cock, Kuliraka, the forest crane, the rice bird too, and minor birds that mimic man, and those whose name is men on stilts, and there forever beauteous lies, fair Kuvera's lotus lake. This quarter is the north, they say, that is how the people call it. This quarter is guarded by a king, mighty in power and fame is he, lord of all the Yaka folk, and Kuvera is his name, honored by the Yaka folk, their songs and dances he enjoys. He has many mighty sons, 80, 10 and 1 they say, and all with but a single name, called after Indra, Lord of Strength. And when the Buddha greets their gaze, Buddha, kinsman of the sun, from afar they offer homage to the Lord of wisdom true. Hail, O man of noble race, hail to you, the first of men. In kindness you have looked on us, who though not human, honor you. Often asked, do we revere Gotama the conqueror? We reply, we do revere Gotama, great conqueror, in wisdom trained, in conduct too. Buddha Gotama we hail. Stop here for a moment. So you see here this Yaka, funny, they go around riding on men, women, boys and all that. Maybe these men, women, boys are lower beings. Otherwise, some of the things mentioned here, they have birds, they have cuckoo, they have the minor bird. Some of the things seem to be like earth. They eat rice also, cook on hot stones. Okay, to continue. These, are the Atanatiya protective verses by means of which monks and nuns, male and female lay followers, may dwell guarded, protected, unharmed and at ease. If any monk or nun, male or female lay follower, learns these verses well and has them off by heart, then if any non-human being, male or female Yaka or Yaka offspring, or a chief attendant or servant of the Yakas, any male or female Gandhaba, Kumbanda, Naga, should approach that person with hostile intent while he or she is walking or starting to walk, standing or rising to stand, seated or sitting down, lying down or starting to lie down, that non-human being would not gain any honor or respect in village or town. Such a being would not gain a footing or a lodging in my royal city of Alaka Manda. He would not be admitted to the Yaka's assembly, nor would he be acceptable for taking or giving in marriage. And all the non-human beings, full of rage, would overwhelm him with abuse. Then they would bend down his head like an empty bowl, and they would split his skull into 7 pieces. Let's stop here for a moment. So you see in the world of Yakas, so in the world of Yakas, they are very fierce. You do something wrong, you split his skull into 7 pieces. There are, sir, some non-human beings who are fierce, wild and terrible. They heed neither the great kings, nor their officers, nor their attendants. They are said to be in revolt against the great kings, just as the bandit chiefs, whom the king of Magadha has overcome, do not heed him, or his officers, or their attendants. So too do they behave. Now if any Yaka or Yaka offspring, Gandhaba, etc., should approach any monk, nun, male or female lay follower with hostile intent, that person should alarm, call out and shout to those Yakas, the great Yakas, their commanders and commanders-in-chief, saying, This yaka has seized me, has hurt me, harmed me, injured me, and will not let me go. Which are the yakas, the great yakas, their commanders and commanders-in-chief? They are Inda, Soma, Varuna, Bharadvaja, Pajapati, Chandana, Kamaseta, Kinugandu, and Nigandu, Panada, Opamanya, Devasuta, Matali, Chittasena, the Gandhaba, Nala, Raja, Janesaba, Satagira, Hemavata, Punaka, Karatiya, Gula, Sivaka, Muchalinda too, Vesamita, Yugandhara, Gopala, Supageda too, Hiri, Neti and Mandya, Panchala, Chanda, Alavaka, Pajuna, Sumana, Sumukha, Dadimukha, Mani too, then Manichara, Digha, and finally Seri Saka. These are the yakas, great yakas, their commanders and commanders-in-chief, who should be called upon in case of such an attack. Up here for a moment. So these are the Tuako, the Taiko, the tiger generals. So you got any problem, you must call out their name. They will come and protect you. And these are the Atanata protective verses by means of which monks and nuns, male and female lay followers, may dwell guarded, protected, unharmed and at ease. And now, sir, we must go. We have many duties, many things to do. And the Buddha said, do so, kings, when you think fit. And the four great kings stood up, saluted the Lord, passed by on his right side and vanished. And the yakas stood up, and some saluted the Lord, passed by on his right and vanished. Some exchanged courtesies with the Lord. Some saluted him with joined palms. Some announced their name and clan. Some remained silent, and they all vanished. And when the night was over, the Lord said to the monks, Monks, this night the four great kings came to see the Lord, and he repeated the whole of the verses. Monks, you should learn these Atanata protective verses, master them, and remember them. They are for your benefit, and through them, monks and nuns, male and female lay followers, may dwell guarded, protected, unharmed, and at ease. Thus the Lord spoke, and the monks were delighted and rejoiced at his words. That's the end of the sutta. So you see carefully, this Atanata or Atanatiya Parita is very long, right up to the inclusive of all the Yaka generals, commanders-in-chief. But the one we do, the Thai tradition, is very short, only the front part. But then to remember the whole Atanatiya Sutta or the Parita is so long. So when I used to live alone in the cave and in the forest, I only recite the names of the four great kings. Shorter. Anything to discuss? And then what? But it's not stated here, because they have added now, I guess. But I guess it's true now. If you're going to call all the Yaka commanders' names, then only necessary only you call. Otherwise, it's like saying fire, fire too many times. When the real fire comes, the fire brigade won't come. Angirasa is the sun. So the Buddha is called the kinsman of the sun. Because the Buddha emits extremely bright light. I think our Buddha is one of the most, can say, powerful Buddhas. Because the Buddha says, for example, he wants to look into the past. There is no limit to the past he can see. So the Buddha's psychic power is super. So that's why he's so bright now. He's brighter than Mahabrahma and all these things. There's some suttas where it's mentioned he went to see Mahabrahma. And Mahabrahma, because they are very powerful, they are very bright. These Mahabrahma, their light can shine 1,000 world systems up to, those are very powerful, up to 100,000 world systems. How bright they is. So when the Buddha went to them, they know what the Buddha is teaching, but they don't believe what the Buddha teaches. So the Buddha, to show them that the Buddha is more powerful, then the Buddha emits so much light, then outshine them. And then also they want to test the Buddha's psychic power. That's one sutta. They said, this Mahabrahma said, I'll disappear from you. Then he tried to disappear, but the Buddha controlled his mind. He said, I'm going, but he could not disappear. And then later, then he got a shock, because it's never happened to him before. Then the Buddha told him, now I'll disappear from you. He said, you try. And the Buddha disappeared, and he couldn't see the Buddha, but could hear the Buddha's voice. And from there, he understood the Buddha is much higher than him, more advanced than him. Then he asked the Buddha, if you tell me about my past, he wanted to test the Buddha. Then the Buddha told him, actually he was the Buddha's previous life teacher. Buddha goes to these devas, those whom he feels grateful to in the past. They have helped him in the past on the spiritual path. So because of gratitude, he goes to correct their wrong views. Otherwise he's not bothered to go to them. So many, countless of them, how to go to everyone. Quite happy, proceeding quite fast. Another 2 more suttas and we'll finish. Now we can go on to Udana and Iti Vuttaka. Okay, shall we end here? Unless anybody got a question.